Here are some of the available apps on AppSource from Food Cloud Plus. Today we'll be discussing some of the functionalities of the Backorder Management app. The Backorder Management app by Food Cloud Plus allows users to create and manage under receipt and under shipment tolerance policies between themselves, their vendors, and their customers. Backorder Management has two primary components. In this video, we'll be going over the under receipt functionality. We'll go through an overview of what under receipt is, how to set it up, and how under receipt works in Business Central using the Backorder Management app. Under receipt is sometimes necessary in the food industry. In certain circumstances, it may be desirable to receive the quantity and finalize the purchase order without initiating any backorder procedures. The Food Cloud Plus Backorder Management app allows users to complete purchase orders and/or warehouse receipts without a back order, even though the quantity received is less than the agreed upon quantity from the purchase order. Companies often base their tolerance policies on factors such as the item, the vendor, or a combination of the two. Before we can use the under receipt functionality of backorder management, we must create under receipt tolerance codes. These codes reflect the acceptable tolerance levels we wish to apply. To do so, we would go to the Under Receipt Codes page, and here we have some codes preset, but to create a new code, we simply click on New and enter the fields in as necessary. For example, here I can create a code for a 15% under receipt tolerance policy. In the tolerance percentage field, we just enter the numeric value of the code. What we can also do is we can set codes to default. Here, the under receipt 2% code is set as default, meaning no matter the item or the vendor, a 2% under receipt policy will be applied. We can also create codes specifically for items and vendors, or a combination of the two. And we can also take these codes and attach them to items and vendors to best represent our tolerance policies. For example, if I wanted to attach a code to an item, I would just open up the item card. For example, for salt. And here in the Inventory Fast tab, we can see that there's a field for under receipt codes. Here I've applied the 7% under receipt code dedicated to salt. Similarly, we can do the same for vendors. We would just open up the vendor card. And if we scroll to the bottom in the Receiving Fast tab, we can see that there is a field for under receipt codes. Here for the vendor Spice Company, I've applied the 5% under receipt code dedicated to Spice Company. We can also assign codes for a combination of items and vendors. To do so, we would just open up the item card again. Then we click on Related, Purchases, and Vendor Under Receipt Codes. Here, I've assigned a vendor 93,000, vendor Spice Company, a 10% under receipt tolerance code for the item salt, meaning that for any purchase order from the vendor Spice Company for the item salt, a 10% under receipt tolerance policy will be applied. So now that we know how to set up under receipt codes, we can see how under receipt works through a scenario. For example, let's assume we have a purchase order of 1,000 kilograms of salt for the vendor Spice Company. The under receipt setup would be as follows. For the item salt, we would have a 7% tolerance. For the vendor Spice Company, we'd have a 5% tolerance. And for the combination of salt and Spice Company, we'd have a 10% tolerance. We've already set up these codes in the under receipt codes page. Now let's assume this scenario. We receive 500 kilograms at 10 a.m. We receive 200 kilograms at 2 p.m. and we receive 210 kilograms at 5 p.m. We still have not completed the full purchase order because we would need to receive about 90 kilograms more to complete the full 1,000 kilogram requirement. However, with the Backorder Management app, we can actually complete this purchase order despite the unfulfilled quantity. For example, you can open up a purchase order. Here we have one for 1,000 kilograms of salt. And we will receive the first 500 kilograms. If we scroll to the right here, we can see that the under receipt code and under receipt quantity fields are empty. This is because no codes have been applied yet. We'll fill in our item tracking. For the 500 kilograms. And from here, we can receive the quantity. Now we'll receive the 200 kilograms. Once again, the under receipt code and quantity fields are empty. We'll fill out our item tracking. For the 200 kilograms. We'll receive this quantity. And now all that remains is the 210 kilograms. We see here that we get a notification that an under receipt has been applied. And if we scroll over to the right, we can see that the 10% under receipt code has been applied and our under receipt quantity is set to 90 kilograms. Here we can fill out the rest of the item tracking. For the 210 kilograms. And we can see that the item tracking is complete despite the full 1,000 kilograms not being met. From here, we can receive an invoice. And we can see in the posted purchase invoice that the quantity is 910 kilograms rather than the 1,000 kilograms set in the original purchase order. Now, in this example, the location we've used did not require warehouse receiving. However, if warehouse receiving is required in a certain location, the warehouse receipt can be completed as well using the Backorder Management app. The under receipt functionality of the Backorder Management app by Food Cloud Plus provides users with an effective way to manage under receiving. It gives users the ability to complete purchase orders without the need to enact back orders. In the next video, we will discuss the under shipment functionality of the Backorder Management app by Food Cloud Plus.